We have news on the Elon Musk Twitter front that's actually very different. Musk is now offering the original price of $54.20 a share to buy Twitter. That was the original offer, and it's now back to that after he lost a series of pretrial rulings that didn't totally work out in his way as he attempted to back out of the offer he had made, $54.20, to buy Twitter.
Yeah, and the problem for Elon Musk is that we are not yet a complete banana republic when it comes to our capital markets. Like this Delaware court is known as being quite serious. That if you've made a deal, if you've put it in paper, if you have a contract, if you've agreed to close on a certain day, this is America. This is global capitalism. It depends on you following through on that. These contracts matter. This is not Azerbaijan where you can pay somebody off and just not show up for the closing and be done with it, because that ruptures and fundamentally undermines the system of global capitalism that everybody like Elon Musk uses to buttress their wealth. And so he might have thought that he could say, hey, you know what, actually there's all this fraud with all of these bots, and I don't actually like Twitter anymore, and that he could just move on, just like, post his way through it, like he does with so many other controversies. And they're like, no, you signed the document here, you even waived like all of this stuff. So stop. And so, and the judge, wanted to move very quickly, because we were talking about $44 billion on the table here. Yeah. And like you said, it has not been going well for him. And so then yesterday he sends a letter. He says, okay, you know what? Actually, I will buy it. And Twitter's response has been, okay, write the check and we'll see. But they're not going to drop the case until he writes the check, until this is done.
Does he have other options to back out?
Sure, he can continue to back out and try to fight the trial, which I think starts October 17th, but he's getting hammered so far in all the pretrial stuff.
But I meant, like, are there any other avenues besides this one? Because on this front, it seems like actually what's happening is that it is going to happen, because he's come out and said, like we just said, he's saying $54.20 a share, let's do it.
The other option for when these cases arise is a settlement, that you say, look, I blew it. How much do I have to give you to drop this case? Because I don't have. Let's say he didn't have $44 billion, and he thought he could get it together. He didn't. That happens in business. You make you get a closing date. The financing doesn't come in. Then you owe them money. He might owe him X shares of Tesla. He might owe them $3 billion or whatever either a judge would assign or Twitter would agree to. So that would be another option. But it seems like he's saying at this point, let's go for it. So where have you been on this Musk buying Twitter? You hopeful that it actually happens? You think it can't get worse? It might get better? Where are you on?
I think Twitter is a scourge on American society, American politics, and American culture. And I don't think any person who opposes big tech should really be cheering on what Elon Musk wants to do with Twitter, which is make it more popular and make it good again. I agree. I think there's a lot that can be done to make Twitter a better experience for the users. I think Elon Musk is totally correct about that. I don't think making Twitter a better experience, that making more people want to use Twitter, which is something that Elon Musk has explicitly said is his goal.
A better health site.
Twitter is one of the best examples of how social media is run like a slot machine. It is, aesthetically it works that way. It is one of the best examples of exactly what they're doing to our brains. And so I have no interest in anybody reforming that institution.
You'd like to buy it and shut it down.
Yeah, I would love that. Buy it, shut it down, a little catch and kill action there. But that said, I think a freer Twitter is a better Twitter, but at the end of the day, it's still Twitter.
And I think if he does buy it, and I've talked about this before, the major conflict of interest he has is that he is heavily leveraged by China, the Chinese Communist Party, because of the materials he needs. This is not a judgment of him. This is just a fact. Like
it's a huge problem.
Materials and financing, labor force. Tesla is heavily dependent on its relationship with China, which
with the government,
which the government could turn the screws on at any moment. The government also has a famous lack of appreciation for the freedom of speech or dissent, and so it is going to want to put pressure on him to suppress dissent wherever it's found among Chinese dissidents, whether it's Hong Kong, in the United States, Canada, wherever anybody is posting things critical of them, they're going to want to try to find ways to kind of crack down on that. And the bunch of Saudi engineers were Saudi Twitter engineers were recently on trial for having been bribed by the Saudi government.
Yes, we've seen how this can happen. We've seen that there are already mechanisms that are in place that can just buttons that can be pushed. Basically.
So at minimum, I think he needs end-to-end encryption and a security situation by which China can come to Elon Musk and say, "I need information on this account," and Musk would have to say to them, "I can't give it to you. Not that I won't give it to you,
you can't.
but I can't. I physically do not have access." Like the way that Signal works. Like I physically technically cannot do the thing that you're asking, because that kind of pressure is just too much for any person.
Right.
Like it would be too heroic to ask somebody to protect a dissident that they don't know up against their entire business,
right?
Their entire company, future, everything.
Right, we
They're
need
gonna
to
give that. Yeah.
For security purposes, we need to see the direct messages that this dissident has been sending. Right, and
no, I can't.
Right.
We don't have that capacity.
Right, it's essential to Chinese national security. We really need access to this. No, I think that's
Like,
important.
I agree with you. I'd love to share the information with you. But I'm sorry, I just can't.
The text messages that came out as part of this pre-trial process were really interesting, and I think overall flattering to Elon Musk. I don't think they showed him in a bad light at all. I think they actually showed him as somebody who was very sincerely and honestly trying to have conversations about what makes a better Twitter and what makes social media better in general. He was talking about things like Signal and how Twitter could be run in a kind of Signal-esque way. There were some hilarious exchanges with Gayle King, although I shouldn't say exchanges because it was mostly just Gayle King begging Elon Musk to give her an interview.
And Jake Sherman popped up in there. What a hustler. I love it.
Yeah,
Guys
no Ryan
everywhere.
Graham.
Yeah, no,
what were you doing, man?
I never texted him. No, it didn't even occur to me. Yeah.
Well, no, I think the text messages actually, to everything you just said, Ryan, listen, it's like what we talked about in the last block. Like, if you're putting your trust in public figures, people who are very powerful, you're probably putting your trust in the wrong place, because power corrupts, and that's very obvious. You don't need to read Machiavelli to know that. But all that is to say, I think there are a lot of positive signs from Elon Musk. I think there are a lot of, clearly negative red flags. So at the end of the day, I don't know how it shakes out. My position is just Twitter is terrible and it should go away.
The one thing that upped my appreciation for Musk in those text messages was his dismissal of the use of blockchain for Twitter that Sam Bankman-Fried was proposing to him. He's like, really? This guy's got $3 billion liquid? Okay, I guess I'll talk to him, but please don't make me have an argument about blockchain with him.
He's just
and
like,
Musk is fine with blockchain, but he's like, it's not appropriate for this.
He's like, I'm not gonna sit at the other side of the bar and listen to Sam Bankman-Fried extol the virtues of blockchain.
I feel seen, finally.
Yeah.
Yes, in Musk, I finally feel seen. His one good idea, I thought, a good idea he had in there was letting people DM all of their followers for a fee. And he's like, Twitter will make a bunch of money. The user will love it, and they won't abuse it, because if you over DM your followers, they'll just all unfollow you.
No, I think more small cost barriers on social media in general are a good thing that make people less reliant on Google Ads and whatever else.
Right, which then makes it less important to jack up the algorithm to just create more toxicity to keep people more engaged.
Cable news is ripping us apart, dividing the country, making it impossible to function as a society, and making it impossible to know just what is true and what is false. But the good news is they are failing and they know it.
That is why we're building something new, a new mainstream, a healthier one, something more trustworthy, something that we are going to need in one of the most pivotal times in American history. We are building up here for the midterms, for the upcoming presidential election, but we need your help. So if you can help us out by becoming a premium member today at breakingpoints.com, we're trying to change America for the better and the entire world.
So what are you waiting for, guys? Go to breakingpoints.com and sign up and help us build a new mainstream.